Hello, my name is Neha Lakshmi, and today I will be talking to you about the province of British Columbia's abortion policy. We'll also be looking at other jurisdictions' policies and what changes need to be made to do better the policies in place right now. Here's an introduction to the policy I will be discussing today. In the past, abortion was illegal in Canada until the significant ruling in the Morgenthaler case of 1988, which invalidated the laws that limited access to abortion. Abortion policies have some degree of variation across Canadian provinces because of the federal system, where provinces possess authority over healthcare delivery, while the Criminal Code of Canada governs the legality of abortion. Provinces retain the power to oversee the regulation of healthcare services within their respective jurisdictions. This policy aims to give access to safe and legal abortion services while balancing various ethical, legal, and social considerations. The problem it seeks to address is a need for comprehensive reproductive health care for individuals facing unplanned pregnancies. British Columbia's current abortion legislation aligns with the federal law, which permits abortion without restrictions up to 24 weeks gestation and with restrictions thereafter. In British Columbia, funding for abortion services primarily comes from the provincial government's healthcare budget, specifically through the Medical Services Plan, also known as MSP. The MSP covers the cost of medically necessary services, including abortion. This ensures that residents can access these services without direct financial barriers. So, although we already have a policy in place, we're still facing challenges such as disparities in access and potential barriers due to stigma. The two jurisdictions that I would like to look at today is of Ireland and Sweden. In 2018, Ireland held a landmark referendum that resulted in the repeal of the Eighth Amendment. This monumental decision paved the way for the government to introduce legislation allowing for abortion during the first 12 weeks of pregnancy and later in cases where the woman's life or health is at risk. It marked a significant policy shift towards supporting women's reproductive rights. And when looking at Sweden, we find a different approach. Sweden allows abortion upon request up to the 18th week of pregnancy, demonstrating a liberal stance on women's reproductive rights. Beyond this period, abortions can be performed under certain conditions if it is supported by a strong because it is supported by a strong healthcare system and societal consensus. Comparing the two, we see distinct paths towards supporting reproductive rights. Ireland's transformation from one of the most restrictive laws to a more liberal stance showcases the power of democratic processes and societal change. Meanwhile, Sweden's policy reflects a long-standing commitment to women's rights and healthcare support. So, what is a policy transfer? First, let's understand what it really means to transfer policy. It involves taking a policy model from one jurisdiction and applying it in another. This process is not just about copying laws, it requires adapting to the new context, understanding the legal frameworks, societal norms, and political landscapes can significantly affect the outcome. Ireland presents a compelling case study. Historically known for its restrictive abortion laws, Ireland's significant policy shift came after the 2018 referendum. The change was not sudden, but the result of years of societal debate, shifts in public opinion, and advocacy. It demonstrates that profound legal and cultural change is possible with sufficient public support. Key to Ireland's policy shift was gaining public support through widespread discussions, campaigns, and ultimately a referendum. Ireland showcased the power of democracy in action. This public mandate provided the necessary legitimacy for the government to proceed with legislative changes. However, public support alone isn't enough. Ireland's success also depended on careful legislation design and implementation. The new laws were crafted to address specific concerns to protect women's health and ensure access to services, demonstrating the importance of thoughtful policy design. In Sweden, we see a difficult but equally effective approach. Sweden's liberal abortion policy, allowing abortions upon request up to 18th week, is supported by a strong healthcare system and a broad societal consensus on women's reproductive rights. It offers a model for jurisdictions aiming for progressive reform. The transfer of abortion policies between jurisdictions is a complex but not overwhelming challenge. Ireland's example shows the change is possible with sufficient public support and careful legislation design. Jurisdictions similar to Sweden in cultural values, political climate, and healthcare infrastructures stand the best chance of successfully adopting progressive abortion policies. Our policy in BC is fairly similar to the one in both Ireland and Sweden. From a reproductive rights perspective, Sweden's policy is more progressive due to the emphasis on women's autonomy and comprehensive healthcare support. However, Canada's legal framework generally provides robust protections for abortion rights. However, challenges in access may persist in all jurisdictions. Let's explore some of the solutions to improve the abortion care in BC. The three possible options to combat the issues in this policy are gestational limits with exemptions, enhancing support and counseling services, and addressing access inequalities. So the first proposal that I would like to introduce is the gestational limits for elective abortions, set at a similar threshold to those in Sweden and Ireland, with critical exceptions for specific circumstances. This approach aims to balance ethical concerns with the necessity of access in extreme cases, encouraging early decision making while providing a safety net for exceptional situations. Despite its potential for increased administrative and counseling costs, this option addresses public opinion on late term abortions and promotes uh, responsible healthcare practices. However, it raises concerns regarding access to for individuals who find themselves outside these limits due to unforeseen complications or delayed diagnosis. So, in our second proposal, we advocate for a significant enhancement of the existing framework around pre and post abortion counseling and support services. Inspired by the compassionate and comprehensive care models observed in Sweden and Ireland. This policy direction emphasizes the importance of psychological well being and informed decision making for individuals considering an abortion. It proposes a systematic bolstering of counseling services aiming to provide a robust support network that addresses both the emotional and psychological dimensions of abortion. By increasing funding and resources for healthcare providers to deliver specialized counseling. This policy seeks to mitigate the potential emotional and psychological aftermath of an abortion, fostering an environment where individuals feel fully supported in their decisions. This approach, however, necessitates mindful deployment to avoid unintentionally stigmatizing abortion or overwhelming the healthcare system with increased demand for counseling services. The goal is to enhance the support framework in a way that enriches the decision making process. The last option that I present is a strategic initiative to substantially improve access to abortion services throughout British Columbia, with a particular focus on bridging the gap in rural and remote communities. This policy envisions a comprehensive expansion of access through innovative situations such as telemedicine, deployment of mobile clinics, and a supportive financial framework for individuals requiring travel and accommodation to access services. The ambition is to dismantle the barriers that geographical isolation imposes, ensuring that timely and equitable access to abortion services is a reality to all the BC residents, um, irrespective of their location. While the implementation of this policy faces potential challenges, including logistical complexities and possibly of encountering community resistance, um, it, its profound commitment to healthcare equity and autonomy um, by addressing the fundamental issue of access. This policy initiative aims to create a more inclusive and accessible healthcare landscape where every individual has the freedom and ability to make informed decisions about their reproductive health, free from the constraints of geographical disparities. There are complex and varied needs within the context of abortion services in British Columbia. Therefore, I feel that the most impactful policy alternative um, would be the addressing the access inequalities. This recommendation is made after considering the broader benefits and potential to address a fundamental issue affecting many individuals seeking abortion services, which is equitable access. Improving access to abortion services, especially in rural and remote areas, addresses a foundational barrier to equitable healthcare. Without access, the benefit of counseling, support services, or ethical considerations around gestational limits cannot be fully realized, ensuring that everyone, regardless of their location, has the ability to make timely and informed decisions about their pregnancies is crucial. Addressing access inequalities can lead to long-term savings for healthcare system by reducing the need for more complex medical procedures that may arise from delayed access to abortion services. Moreover, it can contribute to a healthier society by supporting individuals' right to make decisions that are best for their health and circumstances. This policy is inherently inclusive, offering support to a wide range of individuals across different geographical locations. It does not impose additional emotional or psychological burdens on individuals seeking abortions, as could be the case with enhanced counseling requirements. Instead, it provides a practical means to ensure services are accessible to those who need them. While ethical consideration and support services are important, they do not address the immediate and practical barriers that prevent individuals from accessing abortion services in the first place. By focusing the telemedicine, mobile clinics, and funding for travel accommodation, this policy directly tackles the logistical challenges faced by many people in Canada.